Myomo is the only company that is providing lightweight wearable robotic braces that enable paralyzed arms and hands to move again. If you know 100 people, you probably know someone who needs this product, someone who's had a stroke or a spinal cord injury or MS, ALS, and unable to use that arm or hand. And with these lightweight braces, which essentially amplify your own signals and enable you to use those arms again, you can cook, feed yourself, go back to work, go back to school, and function independently again. Myomo's technology was developed at MIT, which had been a pioneer in powered prosthetic devices for individuals who'd lost an arm or a hand. And the researchers working on it asked the question, all right, there are devices for people who've lost their limbs. What about the much larger number of people who've got their limbs but they can't move them due to paralysis from a stroke or spinal cord injury or ALS? As a result, developed these lightweight robotic braces which use sensors to read the body's own neurological signals. So as a user tries to move a paralyzed arm, we pick up those signals, amplify it like power steering, and convert it into motion. And that's why the name Myomo, my own motion. Myomo has seen terrific results in the hundreds of users that are already wearing a MyoPro orthotic device. These people with paralyzed limbs, sometimes for years, haven't been able to use their arms and hands, are now feeding themselves, cooking, carrying objects, going back to work or school. And on top of it, we now have a growing body of clinical evidence by noted researchers in the field demonstrating the functional value of the MyoPro orthotic product line. Myomo is addressing a worldwide market of potentially millions of individuals with upper limb paralysis. So we team up with clinical professionals such as orthotics and prosthetic practices who are trained on how to fit devices on bodies. We work with leading hospitals such as the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, the VA healthcare system here in the United States to train their therapists and physicians on how to work with our users as well. And we just signed a worldwide distribution agreement with Ottobock. Ottobock's a billion-dollar German company, the worldwide leader in prosthetics technology, and we're now working together to sell our devices here in the United States, and we'll be introducing them to Canada and Germany in the near future. Myomo's mission is to conquer paralysis, to restore motion so people can lead a more normal life with their paralyzed arms and hands. The conventional wisdom is after you've had a stroke or spinal cord injury and 6 months of rehabilitation therapy, some people recover, but many others are left with the inability to use their arms and hands again. And so our mission is to enable those people to function again, go back to work, go to school, live independently, reduce their healthcare costs, and that's what gets us going every day. Myomo operates at the intersection of two very exciting fields, neuroscience and robotics. And our vision is to continue to innovate. For example, we started with a device just for the elbow. Then we added the ability to move our wrist. And now we have the first ever powered grasp so that a paralyzed individual can use that hand once again. And we were just recently awarded a grant from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia to build a smaller, lightweight, pediatric-sized device because there are hundreds of thousands of children with paralyzed arms due to cerebral palsy, spinal muscular atrophy, and other conditions, and we look forward to be able to have them use those arms once again. For the past few years, Myomo has been conducting a successful controlled introduction of our myoelectric orthotic product line, and now we're ready to scale up the business. To raise the growth capital, we are taking the company public with an IPO under the new Regulation A+ rules. Several years ago, Congress passed the Jobs Act, which enabled smaller companies like ourselves to access the capital markets, to create jobs, and also under these rules, the general public can also participate in the IPO. We plan to be the first Reg A+ IPO to be traded on the New York Stock Exchange, subject to meeting their listing requirements. And it's really a win-win situation because we get to access a much broader pool of investors, institutional investors, high net worth individuals, but also unaccredited general public investors. And the general public can participate in the IPO and get in on the ground floor of a very exciting growth company. What excites me the most about Myomo is the ability to take innovative technology and address a huge unmet human need. To see individuals who've been paralyzed for years, for decades, to use their arms again and to see the impact on these individuals' lives, that makes all of us really excited, and me personally here. Well, I'm very excited to try the new sensors you've been working on, so let's see if we can power the device. I try to move my arm, and it follows along. That's a really good enhancement to our previous generation of the product.
Talk to me about the app you
So this new app, so it runs on a laptop or on a tablet. Basically what it does is it connects to the device on the person's arm, and we can read that patient's individual EMG signals. That way the clinician can test it and set it for that each individual patient.